Okay, welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be about low testosterone. I'm going to drink my H2O. I feel so energized. Okay, so if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, consider doing that right now. If you don't do that, I don't know what to tell you. I did my makeup just for you, although no, actually I did it for myself. So I was typing away and I was educating my brain about testosterone. This is more for the men, but it's also for women because women need testosterone too. I have more testosterone than you. Okay, that was a joke. Okay, so if you haven't checked out my other stuff, go ahead and click below. Check out my other amazing stuff because I have amazing stuff. They're just so amazing. Okay, so I'm just going ahead. I'm gonna read to you my little article, my notes here. So low testosterone. I'm going to be discussing the reasons. Hold on one second. I'm operating on my laptop. It's currently 8:31 in the PM and on the East Coast here. Okay, so I'm going to be discussing the reasons behind low testosterone, which include the harm of processed foods on low testosterone, nutrient deficiency, hormone replacement therapy, lack of sleep, heavy metals, and exercise. Okay. So I'm just going to jump right in. I'm just going to read you what I wrote because I'm amazing. I hope that this helps you. And to go ahead and like the video and share with all your friends and family. Okay. So hormone imbalance. If you don't know what hormone replacement therapy is, it's actually a really fascinating thing. It's like a new thing in today's day and age, in 2023. It seems to be a kind of a rising thing going on because a lot of people are, their testosterone is, kind of lanky, you know what I'm saying? So we need to get that lanky up, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so hormone replacement therapy is a unique hormone therapy process, and it typically is for those over age of 40. But over the years, the rise of hormone replacement therapy has actually, the age of the group that has done HRT has gone down for a variety of reasons. One of them is because a lot of people are nutrient deficient and their body is lacking the nutrients that it craves. And if you're nutrient deficient, it can affect your hormone and it can cause a hormone imbalance. For females, even using something like birth control, which I am against. I don't believe in birth control, not for religious reasons. It's because if you can't practice self-control, then you shouldn't be engaging in sexual activities. Ooh, yeah, go ahead and unsubscribe because I just offended you. But that's my belief and that's how I think it should be. Now, okay, yes, I just said that. I think that self-control is underrated, and if you can't accept the consequences of your decisions in sexual activities, then you shouldn't be engaging in sexual activities, or you can just use a condom. Okay, just ask the guy to use the condom. Okay, but if you're a girl, you're taking a birth control, unless it's for acne, because some people use birth control for acne. There's still other ways to help with acne without using that birth control. Usually birth control is progesterone, and it has its place. If you're trying to re-stimulate a lost menstrual cycle, then that's where birth control has its place. But if you're using it for preventing a pregnancy, I think that there are better ways. You can get an IUD, which or a copper IUD, which is not hormone based, but still I don't understand why you would go put yourself through that just for the sake of. Anyways, that's my opinion. you might as well just use a pull-out method, or just ask the guy to work on them and just be extra careful. It's possible if you're smart about it, if you educate yourself on how these things happen. But some people would argue with me, but I don't care. Go ahead and get out of here if you have a different opinion. Okay, so back to what I was saying. So there seems to be a rise in hormone imbalance and low testosterone, and it seems to be linked to nutrient deficiency. It's the reason why is because people are eating calorie-packed foods that have no nutrients, things like Skittles, Reese's Cups, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Kellogg's, Frosted Flakes. Okay, this is just full of carbs, little to no nutrients. You're eating no fiber, and you're basically eating sugar. Okay, and there's a price you pay for the foods that you eat. Okay, because you are what you eat. Literally, you are what you eat. If you don't know what you're eating, and if your body just sucks and your system's not working properly, it's because of the foods that you're eating. Some foods also, they have opioid binding peptides. Foods such as dairy, soy, and gluten. The casein in dairy specifically. There is actually a study that I found that can back this up, obviously, because everything's based off of research. But I'm not going to cite you that. If you want to check that out, you can click below to see more on that, because I cited it there. But basically, the 3 types of food that I want to touch up on is the foods that have opioid, that also have the opioid, have opioid binding peptides in them, and it's dairy, soy, and gluten. I'm going to move on to minerals and heavy metals, which is kind of very brief. So if you read nutrition labels, if you don't know how to read nutrition labels, I would encourage you to start doing that now. You can read a nutrition label, and it just says, it'll say something like, if it's almonds and it has oil, it'll say the first ingredient is always the one that has the most concentration in the food. So whether it's almonds, it'll say almonds and then coconut oil or what have you. But some foods have an ingredient called natural ingredients, natural flavors. Natural, and they're actually, technically it is natural because it's usually a soy or milk, but it can be very misleading because technically there are companies that are not obligated to write exactly what they're putting in the foods, and that I think is a hard concept to understand for some, I think for some, or for most people, because they think that, if it's sold in the stores, if it's sold over the counter, it must be healthy, it must be good. But that's not always the case, because a lot of this is politics. In case you didn't know, now you know. So for example, if you look at peanut butter, you'll see in peanut butter, some peanut butters, if it's cheap, like Jif peanut butter, it'll say hydrogenated cottonseed oil. Okay, cottonseed oil is a type of oil. It has omegas, and it has its place. I don't really know too much about cottonseed oil to speak about it. What I do know, though, is that hydrogenation is a process that they put the foods through, and it can actually form a more, I believe, trans fat or saturated fat, one of the two, than what is actually present in the food, which is not good. I'm pretty sure it's trans fat. So, and the label may not actually say that it has trans fat, but if you eat enough of it, it could technically have the trans fat. But because on the nutrition label, it says in the serving size of 2 tablespoons or 32 grams, that in those 32 grams, you don't have trans fat. But if you go over, then you technically have trans fat. And that is kind of, I would suspect that that's possible. That's my theory. But I do know if you look up hydrogenation process of foods, you'll find that some foods will go through a hydrogenation process. It's where they extract hydrogen from the food, if I remember, and that can lead to a higher amount of trans fat in food. So if you don't know, now you know. Okay, so I said that. So that's about the natural flavors. Now I'm going to go into, if you're not sleeping enough, that's kind of a no-brainer. If you're not sleeping enough, what are you doing with your life? You need to be sleeping. If you look tired, it's because you're not sleeping and you're doing too much. Okay, hard work is good, but also you have to work smart. Okay, you gotta work smart. You gotta work hard. It's good. It's a dance. You understand? A dance. Ole, right? It's a dance. You have to do both. If you don't do both and you just work yourself to the ground, you'll look like you're running yourself to the ground. Show in your face. So, yeah, sleeping is the surefire way to decrease your testosterone. And yes, women need testosterone too. For those ladies that are saying, "Oh, I don't need testosterone. I'm a lady." Yeah, won't you suck my titties? Okay. Anyways, a couple of minerals that you want to make sure you're getting to keep your testosterone high. There's 4 of them I found. First one is calcium. Second one, zinc. It's also good for acne, bro. Next one's boron. Boron. It's responsible for freeing up testosterone. When you get your blood work done, you'll see free total testosterone, okay? So that's boron, and then there's magnesium. These are minerals, okay? Minerals. You can get your trace minerals in salt called Celtic sea salt, which I made a YouTube video about. And if you didn't watch that video, then your life must suck. Okay, so you need to go watch that video right now. It's called Celtic sea salt. I talked about Celtic sea salt versus pink Himalayan sea salt. And Celtic sea salt has trace minerals, which is where you can get these minerals that I literally just said to you. And voila, I just increased your testosterone by that much because I did my research, okay? Anyways, on the topic of heavy metals, which are chemical elements, there's 6 of them. Now, heavy metals, certain foods have high amounts of heavy metals, and heavy metals have been shown to decrease testosterone by a lot. I mean, if you're eating these all the time. The 6 heavy metals are mercury, that's Hg in the chemical element, cadmium, Cd, arsenic, As, chromium, Cr, thallium, Ti, and lead, P as in Peter, B as in boy. If you look up on Google, Consumer Report, dark chocolate, you'll find on consumerreports.com that certain types of dark chocolate have high levels of lead and cadmium. I have a picture in front of me, and if you click the link below, you can find out more. You can see what I'm talking about because I have everything linked there if you want to read what I wrote. And the foods high in cadmium, different types of brands, or I'm going to read you from what I have in front of me. The most popular one is Lint, Lindt. That has 48% lead and 116% cadmium. That's a lot of cadmium. Alter Eco has 49% lead and 204% cadmium. And then the next brand is Pasha dark chocolate, Pascha. It has 68% lead and 253% cadmium. That's a lot of heavy metals. And then certain foods high in lead. So the best chocolate sources that are relatively low in lead and cadmium. The most popular brand is I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Ghirardelli, Girardelli. Intense dark chocolate, 86% cocoa, and the 72% cocoa, the Twilight Delight. And then the other brand is called Mast, M-A-S-T, organic dark chocolate, 80%, has 14% lead and 40% cadmium. So if you're a dude and you want to keep your testosterone high, you better watch that dark chocolate. Okay. I'm caramel. I'm just joking. All right, the next thing I'm going to talk about is exercise. Obviously, that's like the easiest way to increase your testosterone naturally. And no, I'm not talking about taking your dog out for a walk, okay? Sorry, buddy. I love dogs, but that doesn't count. So the easiest way for you to boost your testosterone as high as possible is through heavy weight training. Obviously, if you don't have access to a gym or you just don't really feel like working out, then I don't know what to tell you, because I can't help you if you're not willing to help yourself. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so okay, so I created a structured workout plan, which again, if you click the link below, you can see more of it. But basically, if you want to make it really simple, you have a 3-day split. You have a push day, a pull day, and a leg day. It's really simple, okay? Your push day, you're going to squat and bench. Your pull day on Wednesdays, you're going to deadlift, and what else do I have? Heavy one-arm rows, and Romanian deadlifts, and lots of rows, and pull-ups, and sled pulls. And then your third day, you're going to do a leg day. You're going to do a squat again. You're going to do a Larson bench press, which is bench press with your feet up. And you can do a glute thrust, walking lunges, Bulgarian split squats. But basically a push day, a pull day, a leg day. A push day is where you do a lot of pushing exercises. A squat is a push. A bench is a push. An overhead press is a push. A push-up is a push. A sled push is a push. Anything where you're literally pushing is a push day. Your pull day is obviously anything that you are pulling. You got deadlifts, you got pull-ups, you got bicep curl. Okay, so you get my gist, right? Okay, really simple. When you go in and you say to yourself, what can I pull right now? I can pull that girl to me and ask her out, right? No, that's not gonna work. That doesn't last, honey. Trust me, it doesn't last. They don't last. All right. Okay. Anyways, and then your third day is your leg day. So that's relatively simple. You could basically do any leg machine in the gym, which I don't suggest you start doing. I suggest you do a leg or squats, do a barbell squat, or do a kettlebell squat. But you want to go relatively heavy. Now, how do you progress this, Yelena? You may ask, Yelena, hold on. I need my glasses to make it more dramatic. Hey, Yelena, what do you mean? How do I progress myself, Yelena? I don't know what I'm doing. All right, listen, George. Just follow my lead, and I guarantee results like that, okay? 99% sure that's my way. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to take a journal. Okay, you see this? Journal. You're going to take a journal, and then you're going to take a pen, and then you're going to take your nice pretty little pink watch, okay? And you're going to go into your gym. You're going to put it down and tell that lanky guy next to you, tell him to get out of your space. You say, this is my space, because that's what I do every time I go and train. That's a fact. That's not a joke. Anyways, you're going to take your journal, you're going to take your watch, and you're going to be very diligent with your time. You have 60 minutes. The clock starts counting down the moment you end your warm-up. Okay, you warm up, you maybe some, put your hands in the air and wave them like you actually care, or you can walk on an incline treadmill, you can do a recumbent bike, which I do sometimes if I have a client. That's something what I would do, because it's simple and it's effective, it gets them decently warm. Or you can just jump right into the movement and do some sort of mobility exercises, do some light squats, do some nice hinges, get those hamstrings nice and warm. Okay, but how do you progress it, you may ask? Okay, so I have it here in front of me, and I'm not going to include it on the page because you need to click the link below and check it out right now. Okay, but it's relatively simple. How do you measure your intensity? You can do an RPE scale, which is okay. I mean, that's the smart people way, I suppose. But if you're relatively new, I think it can be a little challenging for some people, depending on how your brain works, because everyone's wired differently. What I do is when I work with the client, I say, hey, client, listen to me. On a scale of 1 to 10, how did that feel? And they say, oh, I don't know, man, like 3. So in other words, if they say 3, I'm like, all right, this was way too light. Then I need to add like 50 pounds. Not 50, but like 20, maybe 20 pounds. And then when they do it again, they're like, and I'm like, hey, client, how did that feel? And they're like, like 8. Okay, so if they give me like an 8, then I know that they're probably like 80% maybe of what maybe is their maximum attempt. Okay, that's one way. You can ask yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard was that? That's a simple way. It works for some people, but if you want to be a little bit more fancier, you can do a percentage base. That's an option. It's kind of an old school way, but it's still effective and it works for some people. Okay, there's no right way. It's not rocket science. Okay, you either do it or you don't. Okay, so that's one way. You can also do an RPE, rated perceived exertion. Rated perceived exertion is, if I tell you, I shouldn't be pointing. This is better. Okay, if I tell you to do, I want you to do 3 sets of 10 reps at an RPE of 7. What that means is I want you to pick a weight, okay, that where every time you're done at the 10th rep, so you do 1 rep, 2 rep, 3 rep, 10 reps of squats, deadlifts, or bench, or bicep curls. At the 10th rep, you technically still have 3 reps left before you fail. Okay, that's an RPE of 7. So it's always how many reps away are you from failure. So if I told you an RPE of 8, I want you to pick a weight that you can do for 3 sets of 10 with two reps shy of failure. Okay, if I told you to have you pick an RPE of 5, you pick a weight that you can do for 10 reps at an RPE of 5, meaning you can do 10 reps and you have 5 reps left before you fail. Okay, that's another way. So how I broke it up, and again, you want to click the link below to see the whole thing, if I still have it up, because sometimes I take it down. Okay, so I broke it up into a 3-month or 12-week cycle. So weeks 1 through 4, you're going to choose a weight that is 70% of what you think would be your maximum effort. And if you're just getting started, you won't know. That's okay. That's why you just, play around with it. You choose a weight of, I say, 70% of what you think would be a max effort, choosing reps between 6 and 8. So weeks 1 through 4, you're doing nothing but 6 reps of 6 to 8. Okay, this is just a template. This is not like the special way. I'm just giving you what I have in mind. Okay, it may work for you, it may not. Okay, after the 4th week, now we're going into the 5th week, weeks 5 through 8. Now you're going to choose a weight that you can do at 80% of what would feel maximum effort. And you're going to do reps of 4 to 6, meaning you choose between 4 to 6 reps per set, per exercise, per week, per day, per week. Okay, and then weeks 9 through 12, you're going to choose a weight of 89 to 92%, so relatively heavy. I could have given it a higher percentage, but I'm assuming you're kind of a beginner or you're intermediate, so I just made it safe. So 92% is still kind of, I don't want to say light, but it's definitely not 98%, so it's not like really heavy, obviously. And you want to choose you want to choose a weight where you can do for reps of 2 to 3 per exercise, per day, per week. Okay, this may or may not work depending on how you adapt, depending on how advanced or beginner you are. I'm just giving you a simple template on what something would generally look like over the course of 12 weeks or what have you. And then as you get more heavier in the weights and you lift more weights, you need more sleep. Okay, you need more sleep. You need to sleep and you need to eat well and you need to prioritize your recovery, because if you don't prioritize your recovery, you're literally going to run yourself to the ground. Okay, and then after the 12 weeks, you reassess where you are, and over time, your body will adapt as the load increases within reason and you are recovering properly. So that is basically a simple way of how to create a workout plan. And then thus increasing your testosterone naturally through working out and through training. Now, that was my video. I'll cut it off right there. Obviously, the main takeaway is eat better. Eat more nutrient-dense foods, because if you don't, you're going to have to pay for it somehow. And looks like some people are paying for it through their hormones, because some guys' testosterone is too low. Although, I had a guy one day, he said, "Your testosterone is really high." And I said, "Yeah, it is." Anyways, so I hope that was entertaining. I hope that helped you. Feel free to look up opioid receptors, opioid binding peptides in foods, Consumer Reports on Google, and you'll find that certain foods have opioid peptides in them. And also keep in mind that foods are sometimes normally created, from what I found from scientists, to trick your brain into thinking that you're getting nutrient dense foods when you're not. Has to do with your, I forget which gland, pituitary, I forget, but I didn't put that in my notes, but that's what I got. So consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, and like the video, and have a great day.